Well, welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. And in this video, we're going to be talking about three teams in particular: the St. Louis Cardinals, the Boston Red Sox, and the New York Mets. And this video starts right now. But before we get into this video, I need you to subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2 and like this video. Now, as you know, if you're a big baseball fan, as I am, you see that the St. Louis Cardinals have gotten off to one of the worst starts in the history of their franchise, which goes back to the 1870s. They had not been this bad in a long time, probably at least 30 years. And they're dead last in the National League Central. The guys that play first and third, they're getting old. The leadership that they once had is gone. And Yadier Molina. Now, here's the thing. It seems that Yadi, there's a lot of rumors that he might return, not as a player, but possibly as manager. Let me read you from Fanside. There is no doubt the seat is hot for Cardinals manager Oliver Marble. Could one of his former players be a potential replacement? That's the idea floated out by Fansided's Mark Powell in this article. It's the article on a different page when discussing how former Cardinals catcher Yadier Molina could take over the team if management decided to part ways with Marble. Powell mentions the catcher's mindset as a plus for Molina, as well as his experience as a manager for Puerto Rico in the recent World Baseball Classic. He also throws out this nugget when considering if the 40-year-old future Hall of Famer, would be a fit under the Gateway Arch. Quote, managing the big leagues right away with St. Louis would be a major leap for a player who's just a year or two removed from the game. But Molina isn't most players, and he knows this Cardinals team very well. Any kind of transition in St. Louis would likely need someone who could come in and immediately know some of the team's tendencies. That would certainly be Molina, who retired from the game last season after spending 19 years with the club. Topping this list of the greatest catchers in Cardinals history, Molina was loved and respected within the clubhouse. Last season, as the franchise bid him farewell. Bye-bye. Would that carry over? The team brought him back in an effort to salvage their season. If you're Molina, unless you want to be, loyal and want to help your team out, your former team, why don't you just wait till after the offseason and apply? Why do this now? Why have any kind of, be attached to any kind of, losing that they're going to continue to do? And they're going to be, even if he were to become manager, he's going to have growing pains. Every manager has growing pains. And he would be no different. Now, up in Boston, meanwhile, Boston Red Sox tried to trade Raimel Tapia prior to a series of roster moves that eventually led to the release of outfielder Raimel Tapia on Sunday. The Boston Red Sox reportedly tried to trade the 29-year-old outfielder to try to get something back for him before he hit the open market. According to MassLive.com, despite the Red Sox wanting to find a trade partner, there wasn't a team that seemed interested enough to pull the deal, with Sean McAdam calling the interest tepid in an outfielder that slashed .260 for .333, .368, and 97 plate appearances with the Red Sox and made the team's opening roster. Other things to note from McAdam's reporting include that the Red Sox were talking to two different teams about a trade before eventually releasing Tapia, and Boston let other teams know they'd be willing to pay down a portion of his remaining contract salary to facilitate a deal. However, Tapia was released and is now available for any team to sign him. Tapia has cycled through three different teams in the last 3 years: the Rockies, the Blue Jays, and Red Sox, and has yet to find anywhere where he can truly make a lasting impact. Well, he's become like Clarence the Frogman Henley. He got a home. And if you know what that reference is, you'll understand that's pretty sad. He cannot find a home. Tapia is now he's back to being homeless again. Aww. And finally in this video, will the Max Scherzer contract haunt the New York Mets? Now, as you know, Max is not pitching so hot. Can't get his slider over for a strike or even an out. Giving up long balls like crazy. His hands are sticky. Can't you shake his hand, you walk away with him. because he can't let go. It seems New York Mets ace Max Scherzer was booed in his last start, in which he allowed 6 earned runs against the New York Yankees in the Subway Series. This was on Tuesday. It didn't go well. Didn't pitch well. I would mention that Justin Verlander pitched well on Wednesday. As Met fans, we're fed up with his shit. Between him getting bit by a dog last year, between him not pitching well in the postseason last year, not pitching well against the Braves last year, not pitching well against the Yankees. We're fed up with this guy. We've all got to be better, Scherzer said. If we're going to be better, we've got to win as a team. Everybody's got to do their part to win as a team. Well, you're not doing anything. You're giving up runs like crazy, especially in the first inning or so. Scherzer continued expressed to put the blame squarely on him for that Mets defeat. His slider specifically was the problem. This is simple. I struggle with my slider, Scherzer said. Every time I was throwing my slider, it was hanging. I wasn't executing it the way I needed to. I can't believe it's not, but I can't believe I was hanging that many sliders in all those situations. Well, I got a suggestion. I have a suggestion. It's a very simple one. How about stop throwing it? Stop throwing the damn slider. Throw something else. Throw something else, Max. New York doesn't control Scherzer's destiny this offseason, as he can opt out into the final year of his contract and make $43.33 million. Now Steve Cohen has plenty of money to spend, but if Scherzer doesn't improve that contract won't look great from an organizational perspective. While the Mets did win on Wednesday night, thus splitting the Subway Series, the rotation remains a concern. Scherzer and Justin Verlander haven't pitched up to par so far, and certainly not in consistent fashion. If he doesn't pitch well the rest of this 2023 season, I cannot imagine him opting out of that contract, because he will lose probably half the value of that contract if he were to do that. So no team would give him that money next year. So I highly doubt he will be opting out of that deal. I'd be shocked. If he pitches well, I could see him doing that, but he hasn't pitched well. I don't see that happening. To be honest with you, he's pitched really poorly. And then the Mets have needed him. The Mets have really needed him to pitch well these past few months, and he's really failed at it. He needed to pitch well in Atlanta. He didn't do that a couple weeks ago. He didn't pitch well against the Yankees this week. He didn't pitch well against the Braves last October. He didn't pitch well in the playoffs against the Padres. He's been a complete, total disaster from top to bottom. He had a good start last year, but since then, he's been terrible. Well, this video hasn't been terrible. I've enjoyed it very much doing it, and I hope you liked watching it. And, of course, please subscribe to Baseball Hut 2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.